I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters. And Gene Simmons is to testify before the Senate on artist compensation for radio play. Yeah, that's right. He says, I look forward to meeting both Republican and Democrat senators to discuss why this legislation is crucial for thousands of present and future American recording artists. Having spent my career in the music and entertainment industry, I understand the vital importance of this issue. The American Music Fairness Act represents sound public policies. Artists will be properly compensated for their creative work. I look forward to meeting with both Republican and Democrat senators to discuss why this legislation is crucial for thousands of present and future American recording artists. While streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, as well as satellite radio and internet radio play, performers' royalties, traditional radio stations use the music of hardworking performers and producers without compensation for their work due to a loophole in the existing bill. The Recording Academy has said this. When the bill was reintroduced earlier this year, they said, now is the time for the United States to finally adopt the proven global standards of compensating our artists for musical broadcast over the radio. Senator Blackburn said, the United States is the only democratic country in the world in which artists are not paid for the use of their music on AM and FM radio. This legislation would close the outdated loophole that has allowed corporate broadcasters to take advantage of artists and their songs for decades. Music First noted that big radio corporations made $13.6 billion last year in advertising revenue. Oh, well, you know what, man? I got to give it to Gene, man. You know, I got to glow and I got to say something good about KISS members when they do something good. And this is good. And you can blame Gene Simmons. Oh, he's so greedy. Doesn't he have enough money? He's just doing this to make money off KISS music being played on the radio and Spotify. So, I don't know why people are so against money. I'll sell my soul. I'll be Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer, both of them. As much as I hate the scabs, I will get in that grease paint for a fucking big-ass paycheck. Hell yeah, I'll do it. And then I should get ridiculed and get goofed on because I deserve it. I deserve it. You think Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer give a rat's ass what I say about the scabs while they're laughing at the bank making all that dough? They don't give a flying fuck what I say on the only news that matters. The greatest, it is the greatest source of news in the universe, and they can give a rat's ass. Go ahead, pay me millions and then make fun of me. I would like that, And I see no problem with money. You never hear me say, oh, cash grab. People talk about cash grab. You know what? Every time you punch in, you go to work, you're selling out. It's the same thing. You're doing something for money. Gene does something for money. Gene will do anything for money. And hey, if I could do it, I'd do anything for money too. I ain't ashamed to say it, man. I ain't ashamed to say it because we all sell out. Every fucking one of us. Unless, you're homeless or live off your parents, which many of my haters do, but they're the first ones to say, cash grab, oh my God, they're so greedy. Oh my man. Right. Yeah. Hot Pockets aren't free. Anyway, hey, I have a couple bands out there that I release records, and yeah, there's money to be made if you sell it yourself. Physical copies. But Spotify, we're on Spotify. I don't get jack shit. They send me, there's people still to today, check out my band all the time on Spotify. See, many, they send an email, they show, how many times the songs got hit. And it's pages. And at the end, I owe them money, basically. It's insane. If you want to make a living in music, you're not, unless you're Kiss, a band that's been around forever. And there are flukes. There are little flukes out there that happen, but not, bands that end up playing arenas and stuff. Nah, there's some bands out there that can probably fill theaters that are brand new, more power to them, hopefully it grows and it gets popular again, but, either way, Gene is doing something right, even if it's, he's only doing it because, of him, whatever, I remember Gene saying one time that his daughter, that Sophie girl, did some song that got millions of views on Spotify and she hardly made any money. So yeah, he's probably doing this for his daughter. And also, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley of Kiss, their sons have a project coming out soon. Stanley and Simmons, I think it's called, or Simmons and Stanley. And so, I'm sure he's going to want his kids, to make some money off their art, even though, they don't really have to because they're set for life. And there's people out there who are probably like, oh, really? Their kids are starting bands. I hope they fail. I hope they make no money because they got enough money as it is. Screw you. I know I am not part of the majority of these rock fans out there that always have to point to money grab and shit like that. Fuck it, I accept it. Look, I love Rush. I would love to see Rush with that female drummer. And they're coming down here. But, those ticket prices are just too insane. I can't do it. But, people say, oh, Rush is greedy, this and that. Well, whatever, man. They have been they haven't been doing shit for 10 years. And, that they live in Canada, man, so that hot tub needs to stay heated, I really don't care, man. Supply and demand. The reason that Rush tickets are that expensive is because people will buy it. People will buy it, And yeah, we get boned. I understand. It's sucky to us, but at the same time, I understand. Money. I love money, man. I know I'm not really the minority by saying this because I know all you love money too. All you that yell cash grab, you all love money too. I'm just one to say it, I'm saying it for all of you that yell money grab. But Gene is doing a really good thing here. Hopefully it does work, and hopefully I'll make at least a dime every month from the thousands of downloads on Spotify my band gets. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. Hopefully it'll pass, but there is a big chance it might not because, they're sitting pretty, saving all that money. All these big corporations, Who the hell listens to AM, FM anymore? Really, seriously. I mean, I can understand people listen to AM for some talk shows and shit, but really? And Spotify and internet radio. My brother's got the internet radio. And, the Ozzy's Boneyard and shit like that. And I had car problems like maybe a year or two ago. And he lent me his car because he's got another car. So I borrowed his car till my car was fixed. And every time I drove around in that car, I would listen to Ozzy's Boneyard. And yeah, they'd play songs that weren't normally on the radio, like Fastway, Say What You Will. But then I'd hear songs I hear all the time on the radio. And then when I hear Fastway again, it's Say What You Will, It's not, internet radio kind of blows. Ozzy's Boneyard and shit like that. The best thing ever is my iPod. When I put my iPod and it's constantly on shuffle, as I drive around is the greatest thing ever. That is, I don't have nobody telling me, all right, listen to this. You know? No, I listen to my own shit. You know? And there you go. And I bought all those records. I did. And all those records that are in my iPod were purchased by me. I uploaded them on my computer and I put them in my iTunes, you know? So there. They were compensated. When I'm driving around, they made more off of me than radio stations and Ozzy's Boneyard. And you know, as far as all these concert tickets and so expensive and I can't afford to go, you know what? In my case, hey, I saw those bands already. And I saw those bands where it costs less to see them than it does now to park at a fucking venue. You know, there's some parking that's like $50, man. I paid like $12, $14 to see a band where all original members were there and they kicked way more ass and they didn't use tapes and it was fucking badass. So I'm going to pay like 10 times more to see something that doesn't have original members, uses tapes, and still kind of suck compared to how they were. I'm alright. That's the advantage of being an old guy. So yeah, whatever, man. Hey, to all you people that yell money grab, get off my lawn. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Tell me what you think. Are you one of those money grab people? Money grab. Explain to me down there how much you hate money, you know? How much you don't sell out and have mom make you Hot Pockets in the comments below. Just stating the truth, man. We all love money, and you all know it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So, stay frosty. Listen to the song Defenders of Creation by the band Warrior. And schmack 'em a cob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.